All right, welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show Live. I am Wiso from FootMexSource.com. Another week has passed, my friends. All of you guys that are on joining us on the chat right now, thank you for being on. We have a one viewer. We have a lot to compete against, especially with Monday Night Football. We like to talk about Monday Night Football here at Mexican Soccer Show, so it should be a fun day, fun night for us. Lots to talk about, especially with the golazo that Chicharito just had, especially if you've not seen, if you're not watching, give it a go, guys. Watch it out. It should be a good time here with the Mexican. Let's go out and talk to the people that are here, these journalists, these guys that tweet, that talk, that Facebook, that do everything they can to get people to read, especially with the news about Mexican soccer. So first one, guys, I'll introduce is Tom Marshall. Tom, how's it going, sir? I know you had a chance to go see Ronaldhino. Was that your first time you've seen him live?
I think it was. Yeah. It was exciting, and you know, the Omni Life almost sold out. So I mean, what more can you ask in life?
Good. Obviously, Tom is our correspondent of the Mexican Soccer Show. That he's in Guadalajara, if you don't know. So, to great Naib Moran, how are you doing, sir? Our Europeos abroad experts.
Good, we. So, hi, Tom and Johnny. Thanks for all the viewers that are going to join us tonight. It's been a great weekend. I think the goals Chicharito scored in A Coruña were important. Herrera's consolidating himself in Porto. And also the situation over there with Jonathan Dos Santos. It was his first week that he actually played 2 games. And I think that's great news considering that it adds more assets to the Mexican midfield.
Great to see, especially we'll be talking a lot about the action, big news, obviously the Mexico call-up, not seeing Raul Jimenez, there's maybe some drama there, we don't know, so stay tuned. And Johnny Rico, the Americanista enthusiast of our show, obviously has a lot to be proud of right now. How are you, Johnny? Obviously a great poster in the background at the Soccer League offices. What's up?
Hey guys, how's it going? Doing great. America won. It's always a good weekend. They've 2 wins in 1 week, so you know, double the happiness over here. So couldn't be better.
Good to see. Well, let's get started. It's going to be a quick show for you guys, but like we said, with a lot to talk about, and let's get right into it. Chicharito, obviously, the big talk of the weekend. His goal. First of all, let me just hear your reactions, guys. I mean, that golazo. Everyone keeps saying, you know, when was the last time that we see him score from the box? I can think of a Chivas game maybe against Tecos, if I'm not mistaken, where he scored that far away. In his Chivas days. Don't remember any of those in Manchester United, but the very first thing, everyone was just obviously excited to see him score. I'm sure he was also. But your reaction, Tom, you know, you obviously watched the game and you're looking at to see when he gets the dribble and he stops it with his feet and obviously that left foot. Is this something that's new for Chicharito, or we just haven't seen it in Manchester United? Obviously, you watch Manchester United games a lot.
I think it is. Nobody expected him to do that, and then to score another from the outside of the area as well. Although it was a deflection. I mean, yeah, he's not known for his, for his work outside the box. So yeah, I mean, I think at United he did improve that side of his game, and obviously, you know, what a goal that was. I think more than anything though for Chicharito is just confidence. I think I said a couple of weeks ago. I mean, so vital. He starts off well for Real Madrid, and you know, a couple of goals like that boost the confidence, and all of a sudden now the talk's gone from is he going to ever start a game for Real Madrid to can he knock Benzema off the number 9 position?
That's pretty much the controversy. A lot of people are saying. I don't think it's great to see the analysts, for example, Martin del Palacio and others, you know, saying that it's not a rivalry. It's a lot of the media making this up that he's going to take his spot because Benzema is not scoring at the moment. But obviously, that let's talk about the Europeos as one of our large topics. And Naib, obviously the big story, Chicharito scoring. What's happening? Tell us a little about the Raul Jimenez, Chicharito. Obviously, everyone's comparing them to Chicharito scoring already and looking to be, you know, like you've all said, probably Chicharito will be scoring more goals. Is there already a problem that we're seeing with Raul Jimenez? Many people saying that he's not adapting or he's looking a little slow still. Can we blame the Mexican League? Naib, take it away in our Europeo spots. What can you tell us?
No, well, I think that it's excellent too. I mean, it's always optimistic to start the topic and see Mexican players scoring, especially the caliber of Chicharito, and we know how that kind of, when Chicharito's scoring, that means good stuff for the Mexican national team. We're talking about a guy that has been in Europe for quite some time, developed experience, had a coach like Sir Alex Ferguson that mentored him well. He comes to Real Madrid, a team that has a good offensive block. It's not the case with Atlético de Madrid. It's a team in construction, trying to build a new identity in the attack, and that is a little bit complicated for Raul Jimenez, who's coming to Europe and adapting to the new lifestyle, a new pace of the game that was kind of unknown to him, and that's why the complication arises. But what I take out of the weekend is that he has the full support from Simeone and of his teammates like Miranda and Godin, who are top players in the team, are the leaders of the team. And Atletico is going through a hard time with offense right now, that we have to point out. I think that out of the last 6 goals, 3 have been scored by forwards, and I think 2 Mandzukic and one for Griezmann. It's part of the adapting period. But Chicharito, the start, I mean, 14 minutes, 2 goals. It goes again to that kind of that scoring percentage that he has. And if you compare it to Karim Benzema's, it's a little bit low. But Benzema offers different things to the Real Madrid offense than Chicharito. I think that's kind of differences. Chicharito already has experience in European football. Raul is barely learning.
What about the coach? Everyone, he talks about Simeone giving him all this trust. There were some comments that he made after the game. Obviously, for those that are saying that he's not adapting, saying that he is adapting well, kind of calming everyone down. What can you tell us about the coach's reactions towards, obviously, Raul Jimenez? And is he saying that because he's the one that wanted him? Obviously, if he gets it wrong, that's on his record, right?
Yeah. I think, Raul Jimenez is 23 years old. I think that's one of the things we have to put in perspective. It was already humongous that the defending champ from Spain decided to get Raul Jimenez from Club America and bring him over to Spain. There is an adapting period that takes a while. And I think Simeone is not trying to cover up the fact that Raul is not getting the goal, that, of course, every forward lives out of scoring goals. I think what he's doing is trying to calm the sort of tension that is going between the fans that are really demanding, because, I think today Luis Garcia was talking in Jorge Ramos in su banda and ESPN Deportes, and was saying that right now Atletico Madrid's crowd is more demanding because they've won titles in Europe, because, they were the subcampeones in Champions League. And this caused a little bit to be more demanding. It was not the case when Luis Garcia was a player in Atleti, that Atleti was, a little bit of not the important Spanish team that it is today.
Yeah, I think that, Simeone is bringing in Raul Jimenez. He's put his neck on the line to a large degree. I mean, he's gone out there and he's bought a Mexican player with no experience of going in Europe. And Atletico Madrid, been a long time since they've enjoyed this success, and I think that's why he's backing him so much and saying he's going to do it. Honestly, I think Raul Jimenez so far has looked nervous playing for Atletico Madrid. He hasn't quite fit in so far. And I'm not one of those who say, no, he's not going to succeed. I believe he will succeed eventually, but I expected him to do better initially. I'm not going to lie. I just think he's lacked that confidence that he showed in Mexico. And I think that, Atletico fans, there's obviously 2 things. Raul Jimenez's famous tweets about backing Real Madrid, which obviously didn't like. But I think the second thing is Atletico Madrid reached the Champions League final. They won La Liga. And they were linked also with Jackson Martinez, the Colombian. And we all know about Jackson Martinez in Porto, what he does. He's just a top player. He's proved himself in Europe. He's proved himself in the World Cup. Raul Jimenez hasn't done that, and I think that from the Atletico fans' point of view, that they're like, right, we had 2 options. Obviously, one much more expensive, Jackson Martinez or Raul Jimenez a lot cheaper. Gone for Jimenez, and he's taking time to adapt. We could have got this kid that, we saw him play the other day, Jackson Martinez, just unbelievable in the Champions League. So I don't know if that slightly comes into it, that the club now, the profile it has, the fans would want a bigger player than Raul, and certainly one that doesn't tweet about Real Madrid.
Anything regarding his adaptation, if they're both, you said it, Naive, if they've been playing in Europe like Chicharito, he knows that, but a lot of people saying that he's looking a little sluggish, he's looking a little slow. Johnny, what's your take? Is it, you saw him at America? Do you see him differently in La Liga? Is it the same pace? Is the Liga MX that slow?
I wouldn't say, slower as a negative connotation with the Mexican league, but it is a different football. It's a different weather. It's a different atmosphere being in Europe as opposed to being in Mexico. And I've mentioned this several times. I thought Raul Jimenez will take a season, maybe even 2 seasons, to fully adapt to European football. It's great that he's getting the starts right now at the beginning to build on that confidence. That confidence is gonna what he's gonna need to fully adapt, and only with more minutes is he gonna get used to the level of play that's in Europe. And I don't know, it takes time. He's not. He didn't arrive to Atletico Madrid a big European star. He's coming out of the Liga MX.
Yeah, I'd say it's not just Europe though. I mean, I think especially in this side of Atlantic we use Europe, but he's going to Spain and he's going to Atletico Madrid. This is a team, like just said, reached the final of the Champions League and almost won it, came very close to winning it. He's walking into a team that is a lot is expected, and I think he's just been a step behind so far, and he needs a couple of goals. He needs to do exactly what Chicharito did on Saturday before him.
Yeah, I think when he scored that offside goal, you could tell from his face when he saw that it was offside, and you could tell that he had kind of a relief the moment that he scored, and when we realized that it wasn't a goal, it looked a little bit frustrating in the face of Raul. But as I said, I think another thing that doesn't help for Raul is that the offense of Atletico Madrid is still kind of restructuring. There's really not a clear stake of who is the leader of that offense. Sometimes it's Griezmann, sometimes it's Arda Turan, and that usually will affect the striker, in this case, Raul Jimenez.
Yeah. Well, all right. Obviously, we'll be following the story closely. Will he score? Obviously, the pressure is there. But I like what Tom is saying. An excellent point. This is a high caliber team. This isn't a mid-level team that's Mexicans going into. Obviously, Raul going into and seeing if he's going to start scoring. This is one of the best teams in the world, obviously, with the champions and with the team that they have. So expecting him to go in there right away and score. I like the fact that Simeone trusts him. I like the fact that he's obviously gave him the time. And right after this comment, after his the press conference, Simeone went out there and said, you know what, he's adapting to the league, and I like his job. And that's when he said I like what he's doing and the job that he has, that's what we need to look at. I really think that he's there to do a position and to be that other striker right behind, doing that double duty, especially with his height. So I don't see him. I think Simeone is doing. He's giving the instruction and he's executing it flawlessly in what he's supposed to do. So that's one thing that I like. So let's move on really quickly. Obviously, the other Europeos, Chicharito, we mentioned. Jonathan Dos Santos, long time since we've been talking about Jonathan Dos Santos. Naive, what can you tell us about him at Villarreal? How is he playing? Is he adapting? And will we see him more on the pitch?
Right now, I think the news of Jonathan Dos Santos is a good one. I think it took a while for him to actually start getting minutes in La Liga, and also in Europa League. He got some minutes against Borussia Mönchengladbach on Thursday, and then the other day he played several minutes against Rayo Vallecano in a game that Villarreal won 4-2. What I see from Jonathan is that he possesses a way of seeing the game with his pass and with his touch that he got from playing all these years in FC Barcelona through its youth ranks. I think he will be beneficial in the formation that Marcelino Garcia Toral usually uses, a 4-4-2, going to play as one of the two central midfielders, playing alongside Bruno, the captain. But it depends. I mean, there'll be battles to see who will get the starting slot. But right now, Jonathan Dos Santos is not a starter. The good thing is that he's having minutes, and he will just keep incrementing them to the point that he might win a starting spot in the upcoming months.
Yeah. Quick question, Naive. Like for me, I wouldn't, like if I'm Piojo Herrera, I'm not calling Jonathan Dos Santos up until next year, even if he starts playing well right now next weekend. And I say that because he's just been out for so long, and he's had so many problems with injuries, with not playing. I mean, what do you think though? I mean, I wouldn't call him up until he's played like, 10, 15, 20, 25 solid games.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think from looking from that point, Tom, and I think there is a substance to what you say that not call him for maybe 10 games that he plays, not even the entire 90 minutes are not enough. What I see though is that in Mexico, in Liga MX, I don't see a midfielder that possesses the vision or the passing capacity that Jonathan Dos Santos has. Because right now we think about it, Rafa Marquez is this center back that has a great touch and that can start offensive plays. Well, right now we have a 24, 28, 23, 24-year-old Jonathan Dos Santos who can do that from the midfield. Hector Herrera, who's doing excellent as he ports a box-to-box midfielder. Jonathan Dos Santos is a more, he's not going to be running up and down, but he's going to give you that intricate pass. If people have a chance to see those two passes that he gave against Rayo Vallecano, it was pretty impressive. It was one touch, and then to the wing back, to the wing attacker, and then from the wing attacker to the center forward. It's a 3-touch pass goal. That can be special when you think about players like Aquino, Guardado, Giovanni Dos Santos, even Chicharito and Raul Jimenez, who are fast. You need a midfielder that can give you the ball right away. I do understand, we're talking about a guy that hasn't been playing for the past 2 years, and he's basically barely starting his professional career right now with Villarreal.
You know what? I'd probably call him up. Maybe not next November call up, but for the January, I'd get him started as soon as possible with the Mexican national team. One, because he's actually playing already. You never know how long that's gonna last with Jonathan Dos Santos. He can find himself in another bench.
But that's the problem though as well.
And two, Herrera has said multiple times he's trying to build two teams, and from the usual call-ups that we're used to, I don't see enough midfielders for two complete squads to compete in two different tournaments. 2015 Mexico will have two tournaments. 2016 there's going to be another two tournaments, Copa America and Olympics, which Jonathan Dos Santos is of the age of the Olympics. So I'd start getting him integrated as soon as possible.
How old is Jonathan Dos Santos?
Let's just verify that. I think it's between 23 or 24.
I thought he was already older. We keep thinking that he's. We keep thinking he's 17.
Well, if Giovanni Dos Santos was of age Olympics, last time around, I wouldn't see why his younger brother wouldn't be of age Olympics.
Well, obviously, if they take him, but I don't know if he's going to be under the Olympics.
He could be one of the 3 players that are old. The old category.
No, that's going to be Salcido, Giovanni, and Corona. All right, and then just a little quick wrap up. Naib, tell us obviously Hector Herrera and our other Europeos. Actually. Talking a little bit about the call-up, the national team, Piojo saying it came out today, only Herrera, only Chicharito, and also who else? Cubo Torres for the next friendly. Aquino, right?
And Memo Ochoa is also coming.
Yeah, so a little bit about why not Raul, and we'll discuss that. We already kind of talked a little bit about that. If Piojo is saying that Raul is still adjusting, to his team, but yet, Chicharito has been there also adjusting. But go ahead, Naib, just kind of on the other guys that are there with Aquino and obviously, what's going on with Guardado in the Europeans kind of wrap up.
Yeah, so just quickly, I mean, Guardado, he suffered an injury back last Wednesday before the Europa League match of PSV against Portuguese team Estoril. He's about going to be around 3 weeks out, maybe hamstring injury. We'll see that. That's why he's not in the call-up for October, considering he's the captain. Tecatito Corona in the Netherlands played 90 minutes and even had an assist. So it's progressively going up for that kid over there in the Netherlands. Herrera played about 80 minutes in a 0-0 tie for SC Porto against Boavista. Marquez is still playing in Hellas Verona and won against Torino 1-0. Worth noting that Rafa Marquez completed 97% of his passes in that game, so that's pretty special.
97.
This kid's 97. I think it was 63 out of 65. And yeah, I mean, Vela, Tom, there's a rumor. I mean, there's already journalists that are tweeting out and saying, well, this close source to Carlos told me that he will say yes to a November call-up. One of them is Rodolfo Landeros from Univision Deportes, who I think he does excellent work. He followed through Raúl Jiménez's first days in Madrid for Univision. So it's tricky, this situation, because sometimes that kind of, well, this source that is close to Vela, we're not, it has to be Vela. It has to be Vela, not a source that is close to Vela.
Yeah, well, we've been here before, haven't we? And I mean, it is up to Vela, and I think that from sources close to Vucitic, when he was in charge, I mean, what I heard was that he had Vucitic is a coach who likes his statistics and his kind of his stats and stuff and Opta and using like kind of like modern programs, and I heard that he was working out his team and how he would play based on having Carlos Vela, because Carlos Vela had told him that he was going to play, and then Vela on the last day of the call up said no, and nobody knows why. So Vela can just do that. He can turn around. I think for me the more interesting thing is, because Vela is so fickle, the more interesting thing is, and we maybe can throw this out to people, on Twitter and people who are watching, but is the Mexican national team better off now with Vela? And I say that not just as a player, but with what has gone beforehand, in terms of there's so much baggage now surrounding Vela that, should he be in there? Let's go to Johnny Rico.
Well, will Vela join the Nationals? Is it really last year already? Or is this what we're talking about again?
Well, it's going to be huge. I mean, it's in November, Johnny. I mean, we at least have. He's right there. He doesn't have to travel. Let's see him.
And I blame Piojo Herrera for this. He already got told no. He should just accept that and leave Vela out. What more is there? Vela doesn't want to play, so Vela doesn't play. I think he's had plenty of chances already. Well, why are we giving this guy so many more chances?
I think it comes down to, he asked and he said no. Then they didn't call him. He just said, you know what? I don't think they asked him again. He just said, you know what? I want to be called, and he made it with Piojo. It's only been one time, so I don't think he's been saying no to the team a lot. With Piojo, it's been one time, and then obviously the World Cup. He said, I don't want to go through this World Cup process. I'm not into it. And I think there was talks to maybe after the World Cup, and I don't think that was maybe mentioned, because I don't think Piojo, if he said, I'm never going to the World Cup, I don't want to ever be called up to the team, I don't think Piojo is the type of coach that would go, okay, well, maybe next time I'll come and talk to you, knock on your door again. He was flat out. He said today he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be in this World Cup. Let's stop talking about Vela. He's not ready. He's not 100% with the team, and that's it. So he said that, and I think there were talks then about having talks after the World Cup. Maybe that's where it comes out. And now that it's that he's been saying, and Piojo has been saying a little bit more each time, a little more in the interviews, you know what, I will give him a call and we'll see where he stands. And he said this about a month and a half ago. If he says to me no, that's the last chance we'll have. If anyone, not only him, but also Jonathan Dos Santos, I think he was talking to him about that. So I think it's great that he's going to have talk to him. I think the media and all has been saying, why would he keep asking him? But that's just my opinion. On that aspect, but also Tom brings a great aspect. Do we really need someone like Vela right now on the team? Naib, what's was your stance on it? You brought it up, but what's your stance on should he play in November? Obviously, not should play. Should we keep asking him? And if he says yes, would it complement the team?
I think when you see the what I was talking about Jonathan Dos Santos and about his passing range and everything, and the fact that right now there's actually a good sense of who the midfielders are. You got Gallito Vasquez, you got Herrera, you got Guardado, and then you could have Jonathan Dos Santos. Antonio Rios is doing good. Now, Tom wrote about Güemes and the Cholos, who's also doing excellent. You even have an 18-year-old like Irving Lozano. Now, if you have a good core of midfielders, and then you can add another good forward up top to Chicharito, Raúl, Giovanni. Well, I mean, I think, and then if you consider that Giovanni, Hector Moreno, those two players are really close to Carlos Vela, that there could be something. The meeting that happened in Madrid between Miguel Herrera and Carlos Vela ended in good terms. I think Carlos Vela went straightforward about why he didn't want to go to the World Cup. He said it on his social media. I don't remember if it was Facebook or Twitter, that he didn't feel comfortable being in a process where he really didn't even play. It was like, oh yeah, well, Mexico's not in the World Cup, so now I'm gonna get on the ship and go to the World Cup. He wanted to start something from scratch. Right now that opportunity starts from scratch and elaborate 4 years to Russia 2018. It's presentable, and it could happen. I think Giovanni Dos Santos had an interview with Fox Sports. Roberto, I don't remember, Rodriguez, who's excellent with interviews so far with players and has a lot of inside news with the current national team. And Giovanni Dos Santos looked like, well, he could be coming. I mean, there's some sense that a decision of that sort, of him saying yes this time, will take place.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say, Nave, I don't think Vela's just another forward to add to the mix. I think Vela's a forward who just starts. If he's in that squad, he starts. For me, he's Mexico's best player. I think he could add so much. I mean, if you look back at the World Cup, the Mexico games, he's a player who can produce something out of nothing. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm not going to go on and on, but it's a mouthwatering.
Yeah, and it's a new debate for all of us, because I think that if a player like Vela comes in, that kind of changes the fact that I think the team will play differently. I don't know if the 5-3-2 is going to keep going. Maybe
5-3 I'd play two defensive midfielders, or and then Vela or Giovanni in a free role, and then Chicharito. I don't know. Could go on all night.
Tom, be the coach.
Let's see if he comes in.
All right. Well, anything else on our Europeos? Obviously, how about Neri Castillo? How's he doing, Nate?
Well, he has no club, I think. Gabriel Piccolo doesn't have a club either. Right now, actually, about Greece, I tweeted out a video of Gennaro Gattuso having a press conference. It's like 13 minutes long, and it's in English. Gennaro Gattuso, what type of midfielder he was as a player, and he has a broken English and stuff. And it's really fantastic, the stuff that he says in that interview.
All right. Well, one thing that's great about the Mexican Soccer Show going live is all of you guys that are watching, and we have quite a few people that are on and they're chatting. So if you're watching this from your cell phone or you're watching on a device where there's not the chat, get to a computer if you can and chat along. We have a lot of people that are starting to join and that we see that are regulars. Definitely shout out to Bay Area Deportes, who has given us a lot of coverage and got to meet. I know some of us. I know Tom and Cesar out there. But looking at the chat. When asking the question, should we worry about Raúl? Obviously, him not scoring. Guelito would know. He's from Pancho Villa's Army. Definitely a voice here in Phoenix. Actually, I know that he's here. But definitely get on the chat. One interesting comment that we're seeing, obviously, when Tom asked, is the Mexican national team better off with Vela? Edgar Garcia, no way. Chris Valdera said, I'm with Tom in this subject. I was a best for El Tri, but I don't think that we should beg someone to play for the national team, meaning obviously we don't need to beg. And you see Johnny Rico in there saying, just me, begging's unbecoming. That's a typical Johnny Rico comment. But a lot of people, because why don't we beg? Why should we beg him? Leonardo da Vinci, always a part of the chat, because Vela is the Mexican Cristiano Ronaldo. Guelito, again, he's a Mexican diva. When they kind of Ivan Fernandez going in with Carlos Talia Vela. So a lot of fun in the chat will make for us. So definitely a shout out for all of you guys going in there. Tom, anything else to add?
Not really. No, not at the minute.
Not a minute. I mean, you didn't like
We go
the
on to
comments. I mean, this.
we go on to the Liga MX.
All right, guys. All right. Well, let's go into the Liga MX, and that's obviously Ronaldinho, the big debut goal. I like to say the goal is there finally came from. Did you cringe a little when it was a penalty kick, Cham? You were at the stadium. Tell us what happened. If he was going to miss one more time, what would it have been? But he didn't. So tell us a little bit about obviously Ronaldinho versus Chivas, who, like you said, the owner life was almost full.
Yeah, I mean, I go to Chivas games pretty much every single home game. So, yeah, honestly, I enjoyed this one more on Sunday, and I know obviously for Chivas fans that's going to work, but it's just the fact that it was an event and it was full. There was a buzzing atmosphere outside, and it's what games should be about. Unfortunately, all the buzz was around Ronaldinho coming to town, and I think it re-emphasized just what he brings to Mexican football in general. I mean, Chivas increased the price by I think about by a good amount, and it almost sold out. So Ronaldinho, I think that's what's going to happen now, and him stepping up to score. I mean, that was he was very confident when he with his penalty. I mean, he really was extremely confident. Just came in, stroked it home. I think he was a bit overconfident the other night against Tigres when he just thought, right, I'm going to blast this into the top of the net, and obviously it didn't happen. But yeah, outside the stadium, people selling Ronaldinho T-shirts. Seems to be a lot more Querétaro fans seem to have sprung up all of a sudden, or definitely judging by the amount of shirts outside. But yeah, it was an exciting game. The pass for the second goal, Ronaldinho's pass was just unbelievable. I mean, I don't think that's an exaggeration. If you look back at the replay and you get the ball where Ronaldinho was and where Camilo Sanveso actually scored. It's like it's difficult to see a pass like that. From a days in FIFA, I know how difficult it is.
Hey Tom, I was talking about that second Querétaro goal. I want to throw this out there to any MLS fans. How do they feel watching Ronaldinho put in a through ball for Camilo Sanveso to finish? I know talk on Twitter some MLS fans still were pretty upset at Camilo for walking out on his contract. There was some talk that Ronaldinho might join MLS. So, if people can tweet at me their thoughts on Ronaldinho pass to Sanveso and the finish.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I don't know about MLS fans in general, but for Vancouver fans, you watch Camilo Sanveso live, and you understand. If you were a Vancouver fan, you'd be absolutely distraught. He's a great player. I mean, watch him live. His movement, his work rate, and his finishing as well. He's a great asset to this league at the minute. And I tell you what, him and Ronaldinho together. That was just one pass, but give him a few games together, and I think this Ronaldinho signing, I've seen a few people for big publications write that this is about business. Like, there's nothing about the player himself. What can he bring? I don't think Ronaldinho is going to turn the Mexican league on its head, but I think he's definitely an asset for Querétaro, and I think that he makes them a better team. It was fascinating to watch the game against Chivas. The way where he played like as a central striker. Sanveso was given a bit more of a free role alongside him, but he had basically, there was Ronaldinho like at the tip of the main number 9, and then there was like William da Silva, Camilo Sanveso Senior, and Danilinho. So he had the other 4 Brazilian. Well, what was it? Yeah, 3 Brazilians, isn't it? Or 4, I don't know.
5, yeah, there's 4.
I think I have Brazilian blood.
But apart from Senior, but apart from Senior, those other players are powerful, good runners, and you can see how the ball comes into Ronaldinho, and they're all running, and you can see how suddenly. And I think you have to give credit to Nacho Ambriz for this, because I don't think anybody really saw Ronaldinho playing as a central striker. I mean, everybody thought, he'll be a number 10. He'll just play in the hole. No way that he can play with Senior. I think that's what most people thought was like. This is never going to work. But suddenly you saw them both on the same field, and you were like, this suddenly works. And I think that, we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks. But I mean, it was generally exciting, and I think that he scored his goal, he did his little dance, and the crowd loved it. His name got, everyone in Guadalajara started cheering his name at the end. he got taken off and he got a really good reception. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a really, really positive debut for Ronaldinho in the Liga MX.
Tom, what about? I know we're talking about Ronaldinho, but what about Chivas? That fourth goal, it looked like, on my end, it looked like Chivas kind of wanted it to happen, like the players. What can you tell us about that fourth goal? How it was embarrassing.
Yeah, it looked like they'd given up. I mean, I think it was Nestor Vidrio, if I'm not mistaken, who just kind of put his leg out. It's like, you play Sunday League and you 8-0 down or whatever, and you just want the final whistle to go.
Yeah.
Chivas are a mess. I mean, Salcido, a player who's been absolutely outstanding this season for me. He's been exceptionally good. Makes a massive mistake. You could see on his face after, he was absolutely distraught. He knew what he'd done. He handled the ball on the line, got a red card. All of a sudden, Chivas are down to 10. Obviously that made Chicharito look better and Ronaldinho as well. But what a mistake. But the thing about Chivas, we can talk about that 90 minutes and say, and Carlos Bustos afterwards, he was saying, this game was an abnormal game. It wasn't a normal game. We went down to 10 men. We had to, and they did okay for large periods of the game until Chicharito got the second. But this keeps happening.
Yeah.
Chivas are down at the bottom half of the table, and they're still in the relegation battle. And they bought loads of players over the summer. What's the answer for Chivas? I don't know. The only answer I've got for Chivas is to do what any big club in any league anywhere in the world would do in this situation, and it's keep investing in the squad. Keep going out there buying big players. Look at a team like Querétaro. Nobody thought, but when the new owners came in, nobody thought Querétaro would be a big player. All of a sudden, they buy Ronaldinho. They invest wisely in other players. I mean, look at that Brazilian core that they've got, which a lot of good players. There's a lot of teams in the Liga MX now with a lot of money, and this Ronaldinho thing might mean that other players are attracted to Mexico. What does it mean for Chivas? It means that they have to go out there and they have to buy the best Mexican players. And the biggest condemnation of Chivas right now is that they don't have a single player in the Mexican national team squad. If he picks his best squad, there's not one player, and the nearest one's a 22-year-old goalkeeper. And what bigger condemnation can you say about Chivas than that?
Yeah, what do Chivas need to do at the moment? They need to realize they're in a relegation battle. I don't think they fully realize this. I think they still go on about their business, trying to play attractive soccer, trying to fill up the OmniLife Stadium, even though not even Ronaldinho can fill it up. That should say something. They need to start playing games like they're in a relegation battle. Look at how Puebla play. Look at how Veracruz play. They sit back, maybe one striker, and they try and scratch a point here and there. And I think Chivas needs to start doing that. Playing Omar Bravo, playing Aldo de Nigris, playing Carlos Fierro all at the same time. It's obviously not working. They need to, forget this whole being attractive and start playing like they're fighting for relegation.
Yeah, no, I don't agree that they should sit back and play like them teams, but I do agree that they need to realize there's a relegation battle on, and they need to, have that in mind at all times. I think where that came in to a degree was when they could have got Vucitic, and I think they saw Bustos as kind of a more attacking coach who played in a more exciting brand of football, and Vucitic was one who was a bit, kind of boring. I mean, obviously there was a big money issue there as well, but I mean, Chivas is in no place to dictate what kind of football a coach should be playing. They need points on the board, so I do agree with you in that respect.
Well, obviously, it is the case to see. I don't think they'll be in relegation due to Leones Negros. Maybe that's why they're so comfortable, and that's why they're not doing anything about it. But I also think that it has to do something with the players. I know that obviously, if it's a coach, if it's the team, but I felt like, why would you give up in the fourth goal? I felt like they're just done. Maybe it could be because of what happened to the Chivas players, because those individual players will be better in their team. And obviously, we've seen players from Chivas leave Chivas and have great careers. So we'll be kind of watching that closely. Let's go ahead and switch it over to America on the Liga MX. I'm sure Johnny is already smiling. I can just tell, obviously, on what it is to be winning. And you know what? I really don't think that Americanistas don't fall short, right? Don't Is that something that Faitelson said, Johnny, that kind of irked you and kind of got you a little upset, get your wheels running? Tell us a little bit about America and La Planadora, right?
Yeah, no. On Saturday, Faitelson put out a tweet that said, "I don't know when, why, or how Americanistas became so conformist." And I mean, I usually ignore everything this guy has to say, let alone tweet. But this, yeah, like you said, it really got my blood boiling. I just had to get at a keyboard and start typing out. I wrote a whole article full of response, and I'll summarize it quickly. You know, is there a higher position than first place for America to be in? How much better does America need to be doing? The title of that blog entry was "America are not perfect; they're just the best." You know, they're the best offensive team, second best defensive team, and yet somehow it's not good enough for Americanistas to be happy at the moment. What more does America need to do to convince it?
I think you got trolled by Faitelson, man. It's exactly what he wants, the response.
I usually don't fall for those trolls, but man, this one really did. America got a very tough 2-1 victory against Pachuca. It wasn't pretty, but it was very, very hard fought. And they deserved the 3 points. And there they are, top of the league. How much better does America need to be?
And I think just following Johnny's words about how America plays or anything, I mean, right now we were just talking about how Chivas is struggling and trying to find an identity of what to play for, and how it doesn't have national team players in the national team. And with America, it's kind of different. I mean, we actually, there's youth being produced in the team. There's players being sold to Europe from Raul Jimenez, and Martin Zuniga is probably going to be one of the follow-ups after that. They get Oliver Peralta. That's kind of still kind of getting used to being an Americanista and representing the team. There are a little bit of flaws with America, especially on the forward position. But the thing is that America is just kind of playing a little bit how Atletico de Madrid, Cholos Atletico de Madrid plays. It's hard grits football. Get the result. What matters is the result at the end. And getting a result against a team like Pachuca that was coming to this match as a menace for America. With all these youngsters that are shining so far. The thing is about getting the results, and right now, as Johnny said, they're in first place. But let's not forget, I mean, once Liguilla starts, a different story. Right now we're talking about Querétaro that can, all of a sudden, has a team that is building up, and by the time the Liguilla starts, then it can be a contender, even though it doesn't finish in first place. So that's interesting about Liga MX.
Leon won, so get ready for that 8th spot, Leon. Take it.
I heard the best description of the Mexican League a few weeks ago. That there is no real league in Mexico. That right now there's a 17-week qualification process. And once the Liguilla starts, the real tournaments start. But then that's just a knockout tournament. It's not a league. So Mexico has no league. It has a 17-week qualification process and a knockout tournament.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think the other thing about America that's worth pointing out is that, I don't think they have hit, the top gear yet in the tournament. And like you were saying, obviously the Liguilla comes and it is a different tournament, but neither is anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they are in first place. And you look at Atlas, and they've done well. A team like Atlas have done well in second. Look at Toluca, inconsistent. Monterrey have been a bit inconsistent as well. Santos Laguna just lost 4-1 after winning like 4 on the run. Querétaro, Tigres, like who knows? You can never predict a Tigres result these days. All of these are the top teams, and they're just so inconsistent. Pachuca, last season's finalists, 4 wins and 4 losses. 11 goals scored, 11 goals against. It's like, people can criticize America all they want, but at the end of the day, nobody else is stepping up. And I think so far it's been quite a disappointing tournament in terms of that. I always like to see a team like last season, like Cruz Azul, a team who were actually like playing and really difficult to beat all the time. This season it seems that, I don't know, you don't know what's going to happen in any given game.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting the point that you bring up, Tom, because the interview you had with Iragorri from Santos, he was talking about this equilibrium, that balance, that like there's a lot of teams in Mexico, that can win the league, not like in the Spanish league that is usually just Real Madrid, Barcelona, and that we see this. But the level of game hasn't been dominant or consistent, as you point out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, I think that's the story almost, and we keep kind of hearing that every tournament. Well, who's going to be so inconsistent in our league? Some people like that everyone has a shot at the title, but at the same time, I think our national team, as we see that kind of struggles. We'll go into that obviously a little bit more, but those are the topics that we have scheduled. We will put it out for questions, obviously that we have out there in the chat. And looking at the chat, obviously really good right now, especially with the America comments. Every time Johnny Rico kind of starts talking, everyone starts jumping on those comments. So definitely jump on. One question for you guys coming from Huelito71: should Liga MX get rid of the short season? Should we go to that full tournament? And let's not, obviously, money. Let's not talk about we need it. They're doing it for the money purposes. But will we benefit from a longer season? And I'll give you that sense, Tom, since you've seen in the game, obviously European, especially from the English game, that you're looking at the long seasons. What do you think?
I think that it's exaggerated when it's 2 seasons a year, and it's a playoff. You know what I mean? I think that's just an absolute exaggeration of both systems. You know what I mean? So I either think it should be 2 seasons a year with a normal league, or a big league and then a playoff, because even then you have to be consistent just to get in the playoffs. I do think it. I mean, but it all depends on what you appreciate in the game, because there are people, especially in North American sports, who love the playoffs. That's everything hits a crescendo when it comes to playoffs. Whereas you get like the Premier League, and it's an absolute skill, and La Liga, an absolute skill to grind out results week in, week out, and that's half the battle in itself. To play 3 times in 7 days and get 9 points, Whereas in Mexico, it's like, first team players aren't even playing a lot in the cup, so you get you play on a Saturday and then you play the next Sunday. Well, the players have got 2-3 days then just to chill out, basically, and that's what they do. Before they, on a Wednesday they'll hit training. So I don't know. Personally, I'd prefer the European structure. I don't think it'd work in Mexico. I think it's gone way far the other way. And what I'd do is either introduce like Argentina has now, 2 leagues a year, which is just a league, or have like MLS, where it goes to 1 season a year, but you have to get in that playoff and have 1 big playoff.
Gotcha. All right, well,
one quick thing, but a big thing for me, I'd introduce relegation, and I'd really reform that and have 2 teams going down a year, and based on the performance of the past year. Because I only think that would open the Mexican League up to, you'd have a strong second division, and I think that would improve the quality as well. I think big time. I think if I could make one change in the Mexican game, it would be the relegation.
Chivas and Leones Negros both descending. There will only be 1 team in Guadalajara, which being Atlas.
So that would be nice.
There you go, Tom. All right, let's talk about the next week. The games, Friday, September 26th, Veracruz. And I'll ask for you guys what the most attractive game for the weekend. Veracruz, Tijuana on Friday. Santos, America, Johnny. And Querétaro, Toluca, which I think would be an exciting game to see Ronaldinho obviously keep on going with Toluca. Saturday, September 27th, Cruz Azul, León. If obviously my buddy Jason's watching, I'm sure we'll be tweeting there. Pachuca con los Tigres, Monterrey, Atlas, UDG, Leones Negros, obviously against Morelia. On Sunday, in the last 2 games, Pumas and Chiapas. And also Guadalajara versus Puebla. Asking you guys, what's the most attractive game? If we could only watch 1 game, what's the game to watch? I'll throw it out for you. Johnny, you cannot say America.
Well, you kind of had me with, I was going to say the return of Oribe Peralta to Territorio Santos Modelo, but
Oribe Peralta.
But if I have to stay away from that one, then I guess I'm going with Monterrey against Atlas. Second against third. It's it's gonna be. It's one of those that skips under the radar, but look at the league table. You can tell it's gonna be a really good game.
Good to see. Naib, What game would you see to watch this weekend?
I want to see the Chivas Puebla. I want to see Cuauhtemoc play against Chivas in a situation
It's like anyone against Chivas right now. It's just entertaining.
I mean, it's interesting right now with Chelis and getting Puebla together. It's an interesting story. Kind of, Chelis always works well in Puebla for some reason. And you have the Cuauhtemoc, kind of as a cherry on the cake deal. The thing with Chivas in the last game against Querétaro was unfortunate. The red card for Salcido. I think if it would have been 11 versus 11, would have been a more close game. But we'll see. It's two teams that are technically fighting for the relegation, and I think it will be a match to watch.
Yeah, and before we go to Tom, Naib, really quickly, what's your score for that game?
Oosh. I'll say Chivas will win 2-1.
Woo, woo, woo. Sirens go off. Chivas fans like that. Johnny, before we go to Tom, what on the game that obviously you saw, what do you think the scoreline would be? And I think you're on mute, mister. Somebody muted you.
Okay, on the Monterrey against Atlas, I'd say a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. So tie game, exciting game. Tom, take it away. What's the one game you got to watch, exciting game that you would tell us, and obviously the scoreline?
I'd say Chivas Puebla as well, because Naive already said it. I mean, the other thing is it's relegation. I mean, this is now, if Chivas don't win that game, and definitely if they lose, I think that's the end of Carlos Bustos. And I think that will be...
Are we ready to see Chepo de la Torre? Are we ready, guys?
Hey, but is he ready to take the job? Because that's the big question at Chivas. I mean, all the reports that came out suggested that he didn't want that job, and it's pretty obvious why when you look at Jorge Vergara's record, sacking coaches and not giving projects enough time. So, I think that's more the question, would Chepo accept? Apart from that, I mean, there's a lot of good games. I'd go for Santos Laguna America. There's a history. Was it the last season? There was an incredible Liguilla battle between those two sides. So yeah, I'd go for that one. Santos America, Oribe Peralta coming back. Two of the top sides in Mexico without any doubt about it. Yeah.
We'll see if Caixinha can control himself and not pick up any boxing fights.
That's right. That's right.
Cool.
All right, Tom, you forgot to give your score, man, before we let you go.
Score, Santos 2-1 America and Chivas 1-1 Puebla.
Very nice. Lots of ties. It's so great.
Boo, Tom Marshall.
America loses. All right, guys. Well, that does it for today's show. Anything to add for all three of you? I know Chicharito starting tomorrow. Correct, Naib?
Yeah, tomorrow against Elche. It will be a game tomorrow, and we'll see.
Leche?
Elche.
Oh, Elche.
Elche, no leche.
I thought he was starting to go get the glass of milk for everybody.
And then just a little bit, one last thing to add. I forgot about Ulises Avila. He scored a goal this past weekend for Tenerife against Valladolid, but Valladolid won 2-1. 3 games for Ulises Avila. He didn't start in this third game. He came in the 16th minute, but he got a goal. So it's a goal from an Europeo.
Well, good. Obviously, good to see all of the Europeos, guys. Well, if anything else, have anything else to add first, thank you so much to the many that were on the chat. We had up to 30 people chatting away. Obviously talking about Chicharito, Raul Jimenez, commenting on all the Americanistas, lots of Chivas fan on there. So I definitely want to thank all of you guys. We'll be doing this every Monday night. I know that there's a lot happening on Monday night, but I think it works out right after what is the weekend. You can always, mute Monday Night Football if you're who watches that. But also, this is our Monday Night Football, as we like to watch it. So I definitely want to thank all of you guys. Obviously, Tom, Naib, and Johnny for jumping on. I know you guys have busy schedules and you jump on. I definitely want to take a moment to thank my hairstylist, who I told him to give me a Cholo Simeone cut. And she went ahead and she tried to get me to looking like that guy.
Giving props to hairstylist. I gotta give props to my hairstylist too.
Please tell me you got an America. Please tell me. Oh, okay. Got the mohawk.
Yeah, good. It's an American barbershop in Tijuana, Mexico. It's the greatest thing ever.
Nice. American,
Is
as
it
in
too far to go back there and get one
No,
cut
I'm
back
saying,
there?
is it American, as in like American, the United States, or American like America?
no, here, the name of the barbershop is called Cali Cuts.
Oh, Cali cuts. Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha, gotcha.
it's yeah, great
Everyone's
barbershop.
everyone's praising their hairstylist, guys, today. Just a joke. Always having fun with the Mexican Soccer Show, guys. Well, this does it for another live edition. We'll be doing this every Monday, like I've said. Please share it. Help us grow. There's a lot of soccer shows out there. Not one about the Mexican Soccer Show, especially live, and especially not this fun on Monday nights for you guys to watch. Welcome anyone that's out there to keep tweeting us your questions for next one and give us ideas. Sometimes maybe you have an idea out there that we would like to do on the show. We'll definitely give you credit. We do this all for you guys and all that. So if you give you guys last words, Naive, last words for the fans and for this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of our viewers just said that bring back John Van Sheep for Chivas. So I think that's kind of fun. Bring just Cruyff back or something. No, but thank you for watching and have a great week. Enjoy the week with your loved ones and everything, and have fun.
Nice, Johnny. Last things to say.
I'm gonna say Chivas hasta descender.
Chiva descender. Keep it. Watch out, because we might be able to get you arrested for stealing cell phones for saying that, apparently. Tom Marshall, obviously a pleasure to have on. Any TV appearances this week, man? For those of you who don't know, Tom on TV, ESPN. Looked really sly. Tom.
No, we'll see the next games in Chiapas and Querétaro. We'll see if I get invited back or not, or whether I didn't do a good job last time.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous of that. That suit looked amazing. Where can I get a suit like that?
In Guadalajara.
Looking good, looking good. All right, Tom, well, thank you so much. Well, guys, that does it for me. Again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll be keep going on. We're having a lot of fun with this, so talk to you all next week. Keep tweeting us out.